It is the most wonderful time of the year. Of course, I mean, my favorite time of the year, Christmas, but at the same time, it is bowl season. We have bowl season quickly approaching. Saturday, December 16th, the first day of bowl games. We have a full slate of bowl games. We're going to be going down every single one of them, and we're going to be previewing every one of these games. We're going to make sure this thing gets out on Friday so you guys can hear all the predictions for all the bowl games, and we'll be picking winners, obviously, with talking a little bit earlier than when the games start. We don't have the latest line movement when they do come out, but I'm going to be telling you guys exactly who's in, out, transfer portals, injuries, all that important stuff. Giving picks for the games, and then giving you guys hopefully the information that you need to win your pools, make your picks, and overall beat the books on this college football bowl season. So we're going to start on Saturday, December 16th, a game that I have looked at very frequently since it was announced, which is the Myrtle Beach Bowl, Georgia Southern, Ohio. And on its face, you would think, Ohio is a fantastic defense, top 5 defense, number 4 defense, I think it is, in the entire country. Why are they anything but outstanding favorites? And they did open as favorites in this game. Georgia Southern opened as, I think, 2.5, 3-point underdogs, and then Ohio quickly became the dogs, and now Georgia Southern, as of this writing, is a 3-point favorite. And you start thinking about, well, why is that? First of all, you look at the quarterback position across this game. Georgia Southern's quarterback, Davis Brin, has been in the Myrtle Beach Bowl before. He has won it. He is actually the passing record holder for the Myrtle Beach Bowl, if you look at those stats from his time at Tulsa. So he has won this game, and he has been fantastic in this game. Georgia Southern, they don't have a lot of guys that are going to be out for this game. You have Jalen Denton, who's in the transfer portal. He hasn't played since week 7. He's their cornerback for Georgia Southern. He not a lot of concern there. Their leading rusher and their starting outside linebacker did not play in the regular season finale for Georgia Southern, so that's a little concerning. Jalen White, the leading running back, potentially out for this bowl game. Obviously, with college football, there's not a ton of information for that. We'll see if he comes back. And Isaac Walker, really big piece outside linebacker in that front 7, potentially out. But that's not massive when you look at Ohio's transfer portals, opt-outs, and injuries. You look at the transfer portal for Ohio for this game. Starting quarterback Curtis Rourke in the transfer portal. Starting wide receiver Miles Cross in the transfer portal. Starting and backup running backs for Ohio, both in the transfer portal. Backup wide receiver. Starting linebacker Key Thompson, who was their absolute anchor, the cement that held this Ohio defense together. He is in the transfer portal. It is yet to see if any of those guys will potentially be available if they decide to come back quickly, and they'll be available. But we have to operate as if none of these guys are going to be playing in this game. Ohio lost wide receiver Jacoby Jones earlier this season to an injury, so there's down their starting quarterback, top 2 running backs, and they're 2 of their top 3 wideouts on offense. That is a big gap to make up, even as good as their defense is. C.J. Harris, their backup quarterback, also out for the year. So the Bobcats will turn to Parker Navarro. All things considered, they're going to turn to Parker Navarro, who would be the team's leading rusher and their leading passer on the season. That's crazy. So Ohio's offense is really in trouble as you look at this matchup. I do like Georgia Southern in this matchup. Their defense obviously isn't as fantastic as Ohio's, but I think that Ohio just has way too many question marks and way too many gaps to fill on offense for them to be able to keep up with Georgia Southern and an offense that's led by Davis Brin, which is honestly fantastic. I mean, it can be fantastic, and it can be a really explosive, dynamic offense. So I really like Georgia Southern in this spot, and I think this is one of those games where we can take the was dog, ride the line movement and not feel like we lost too much value in the line movement. Now we move down to the New Orleans Bowl. Jacksonville State, Louisiana. Louisiana, a team that has just become synonymous now with bowl season, and they play a lot of their bowl games now in Louisiana because they've been in 11 bowl games in the last, I think, 12 years, 13 years, something like that. Pretty impressive mark. So the transfer portal for Louisiana doesn't look too bad. Their starting linebacker is out. That's not great. One of their backup safeties is out. That's not too much, I don't think. Their starting left tackle, who's had 765 snaps this year, Nathan Thomas, one of their anchors on that offensive line. He will miss the bowl due to offseason surgery that he's going to have, so he will not be in there. Head coach says he's hopeful that their starting safety will be back in. Hopeful Landon Burton will be back in. There's their center, and he missed some time to end the season, but they're hopeful that they'll get them back. Jacksonville State's place kicker is the only one who's out in the transfer portal. Their starting cornerback and one of their edge rushers who didn't play in the regular season finale are both injured. I don't expect either of them to play, and that's pretty big too. So this is a pretty close game. You look at the line moving this game. This is another game that has moved through zero. Jacksonville State plus 1.5 point dogs as we began the bowl season odds making. They have moved to 2.5 point favorites with 90% of the bets, 96% of the money, as I'm saying this, on Jacksonville State. I think they win a close one. I think this is, again, a very close game. The first game where I expect it to potentially go under, this one, I think it could go over. I think we could have, those losses on defense could pile up, and then all of a sudden you have, a breakout game, an over 58 type game. But I do like Jacksonville State to win this thing in a close one. Let's look at the Cure Bowl, Avocados from Mexico Cure Bowl, Appalachian State, Miami, Ohio. Miami, Ohio losing their starting quarterback through I think it was the last game of the year. Or no, they lost their starting quarterback earlier in the year, and then they lost their other quarterback, Avion Smith, who's taken 342 snaps this year. So that means that Henry Hessen is going to be the starting quarterback. If you don't know who that is, I don't blame you. He has 5 collegiate passes to his name. 5, count them. Henry Hessen, who has 5 attempted collegiate passes his entire career, he will get the start under center if Avion Smith, who got hurt in the final game of the season, doesn't suit up. Now, Miami, Ohio, another fantastic defense, another really, really solid defense. Won the MAC championship, won 11 games for the first time since Ben Roethlisberger was there. They still have their starting linebacker, and this Redhawks defense is fantastic. However, going against Appalachian State in bowl season is not easy. It's not an easy feat. It's not an easy matchup. The line has been moving toward App State as I talk about this. I think it was 6.5 yesterday. This is Friday we're recording this on, so it was 6.5 yesterday. I think it's down to 6 today. So it's moved back toward Miami a little bit as Appalachian State has lost one of their edges, their leading rusher, leading running back, and 2 of their wide receivers, both of whom have over 250 snaps this year. So Appalachian State losing some weapons on that offense, which is difficult to do, but at the same time, most of their core that has brought them here has given them a chance to win this thing and keep this thing close. I think this is going to be a really close game. I don't love the losses at quarterback for Miami. I think the line movement toward Appalachian State is pretty telling. I think Appalachian State wins. Miami, Ohio covers because of that defense. This is another potential under game. I don't think betting against App State is the way to go this bowl season, and it really almost never is. Total is down to 42.5 as I'm talking about this right now, but App State really, really pushes to win their bowl games, guys, and this is one of those teams that loves to win trophy games. They love to win big games. Appalachian State, a dangerous team to pick against. We have the New Mexico Bowl up next. I want to plug the Discord really quickly, guys. Over 76 units in profit in the Pro Discord over the last month and change since November 1st. I don't know where February came from. Since November 1st, the Pro channel is up 76.6 units. This is an absolute hot streak. We love it. We're running a flash sale over the weekend, so if you're listening to this over the weekend, we are running a 50% off flash sale. We just released a new Pro membership, which allows you to pay in monthly installments over the year, save $200 over choosing the monthly plan for the year, and just a lot of exciting things, a lot of things you guys have asked for in the Discord that we're giving out to you guys. So join the free Discord. We had 65 units in free plays last month. Join the pros, and it's a big weekend ahead. UFC 296 is going to be intense. If you guys saw the press conference yesterday on Thursday, it's going to be intense. So bowl season is among us. All these games going down on Saturday. Get into the pros and start cashing with the pros. All right, let's go to the New Mexico Bowl. New Mexico State Aggies. I need my water at some point. New Mexico State Aggies, Fresno State Bulldogs. Two teams kind of going in opposite directions. Fresno State kind of limping into this game. They lost a few of their last, three of their last four, something like that, or three of their last three. I think it was, they lost all their last three games against San Jose State, New Mexico, San Diego State. New Mexico State, meanwhile, one of the hottest teams in the entire nation, coming into last week's game against Liberty, the Conference USA Championship game against Liberty, when they got beat, and they got beat by 2 touchdowns. And it was a good game for a while. Liberty's offense just took off. I love what Jerry Kill is doing with this program, guys. I love what Jerry Kill is doing with the New Mexico State program. Playing at New Mexico, where, by the way, Diego Pavia, I don't know how explicitly I can talk about this, but let's just say he marked his territory on the logo of the New Mexico field when he played there earlier this year, when New Mexico State took down rival New Mexico earlier this year. Now he returns to that. Really good dual threat quarterback. I mean, 2,900 passing yards, almost 900 rushing yards this year. Really good dual threat quarterback. Love what Jerry Kill has done with the program. Really like New Mexico State. Really like their offense this year. They're a team that just knows how to win games. Meanwhile, you have Fresno State, who lost their coach to not lost their coach, but their head coach is experiencing some personal health issues, and he has to step away from the team for a little bit. And as that happens, you have a Fresno State team that lost all of its last 3 games after they were 8-1. They were in the Mountain West Conference title conversation at least. And then they lose all 3 of their last games. They kind of stumble into this game. There's not much more I have to say about it than home field advantage, really good program, kind of 2 teams going in opposite directions. I really like New Mexico State in this game. You look at the line movement, it's moved a full point toward New Mexico State. They are the heavy favorites. Not heavy favorites, sorry. They are the 3.5-point favorites as of this speaking. So I really like New Mexico State in this spot. If you are taking a pick'em pool or something like that, I take New Mexico State. Diego Pavia, he did injure his elbow in the title game. The Conference USA title game is expected to play, so he should be okay. And then we look at, a couple of their guys. Trent Hudson, top wide receiver. One of their top wide receivers is in the transfer portal. Not really a ton of issues in the transfer portal. Fresno State's losing their backup quarterback in the transfer portal. Their starting left tackle was lost for the season. That was bad. But they've already, and you could see how the offense kind of struggled after that happened. And then over the final 2 games, their starting defensive tackle has only taken a couple snaps. So, Fresno State, as we're getting comments in, Fresno State's a shell of a program. I think Fresno State's having way too many issues to go into Albuquerque, New Mexico, and beat New Mexico State, a team that is really rallied around Jerry Kill. So I am absolutely for New Mexico State in this game. Now we start going into the really interesting ones. I think this is a game that you're going to have another home field advantage in a sense that it's UCLA in the LA Bowl against Boise State. But UCLA home games are, they are what they are. I think you're going to have a lot of good Boise State travelers coming to this game, and there is a lot to unpack with this game. I love Boise State's talent. I thought they were one of the most talented group of 5 conference teams in the entire nation starting this year. And I was very disappointed with how they started the season. Then they fire their coach. They get an interim coach who is now the new head coach, and they rattle off a ton of wins. How many wins do they have toward the end of this year? Let's see. They've won 4 or 5 in a row, 4 in a row. 5 of their last 6 to end the season. Their only loss being at Fresno State, which was a really close game. That was a really good game. They also lost to Colorado State by 1 after beating San Jose State. Lost to Memphis by 3. They haven't had, since week 3 of their season, they have not had a bad loss. They have not. Boise State, really interesting team. UCLA, a team that just can't get the offense going. I mean, they scored 10 against Arizona, 7 against Arizona State, 7 against Cal to end the season. They did put up 38 against USC. USC doesn't play defense. They are, a shell of a defensive program, to use Kansas City Kaz's words. UCLA just does not have the offense going. The defense is fantastic, and that's what's going to be very interesting and effective in this game, especially when you look at the transfer portal. Boise State's starting quarterback, Taylor Green, he's gone. He's in the transfer portal now. That's going to be big. That's going to be massive, that Boise State is losing their starting quarterback to the transfer portal. Their starting wide receiver hasn't played since week 10. Their other quarterback, Maddox Madsen, is out for the season. So Taylor Green committing to Arkansas, Maddox out for the season. They're going to either have true freshman C.J. Tiller or walk-on Colt Fulton starting at quarterback. Tiller's gotten most of the first-team reps. He's most likely going to start, but you're going to have a true freshman going up against UCLA's defense. This is an under game, first of all. Let me see what the line movement looks like for the total. Total's moved down, and 99% of the money's on the under. I think that total is going to still move down. UCLA's transfer portal is almost worse. One of their quarterbacks who kind of got into the rotation through the season is going to the transfer portal. One of their wide receivers is gone, but he hasn't played since week 9, so that's not that big of an issue. Both of their safeties, 2 of their safeties who have combined for over 900 snaps, are both in the transfer portal. One of their best cornerbacks is in the transfer portal. So this is going to be, this is bad. This is just bad on the defensive side for UCLA. Ethan Garbers will likely be available after he suffered an injury in week 13, so that's good for UCLA for their offense. Their defensive coordinator, by the way, UCLA's defensive coordinator who led them to such a successful defensive season, he's gone. He took the job across town at USC. So that's bad too. Their quarterback coach, who, Ethan Garbers obviously would love to have in this game, he took the Oregon State offensive coordinator job because Oregon State had such a good year, their offensive coordinator left. Their starting running back was not spotted at practice this week. That is something to keep an eye on. So hopefully UCLA gets their quarterback back. But this is a game with a lot of big transfer portal issues, transfer portal news, and I think this is a game where I would pick Boise State because I love their momentum, and I love the coaching that they've gotten, and I love their talent outside of the quarterback position. But losing your starting quarterback to the transfer portal is massive. The line movement has reflected that. I think I'm staying away from this game. Maybe take the under. I think you probably just either take the under or stay away from this game. Way too many question marks. Independence Bowl, Texas Tech and Cal, another game with a lot of news on the transfer portal. Let me just set the stage for you on this one. Texas Tech, Cal, 2 of the best running backs in the entire nation coming into this game. Texas Tech, and I don't think either of them are leaving in the transfer portal. I'm pretty sure they're both going to be here. Texas Tech has Taj Brooks, who is the number 4 running back in terms of yardage on the season. Jaden Ott, number 14 running back in the nation in terms of yardage for Cal. Cal is a new offensive play caller. Jake Spavital left to go to Baylor. So new offensive coordinator for Cal. Pretty even matchup, honestly. Very, very even matchup in this game. We look at some of the big news for the Texas Tech Red Raiders. Tyler Shao, who was not starting at the end of the year at quarterback, he's gone. They're starting 2 of their starting wide receivers, who have accounted for over 1,000 snaps this year combined, are both gone for Texas Tech. This is just one of those realities of college football today. Another one of their wide receivers, or 2 more of their wide receivers are gone, but they kind of both fell out of the rotation. They're starting left tackle, who only allowed 2 sacks the entire year, playing 900 snaps, only allowed 2 sacks of the year. He is gone. That's Monroe Millis. He's going to be a big, I think he's going to be a big left tackle target in the transfer portal. He's gone. Ty Buchanan will probably be replacing him. The Texas Tech head coach says Morton, one of their backup quarterbacks, should be 100% health for the bowl game, so that is pretty good. That's a guy that knows the system well. He's been in the rotation. He's started games before, so that's big, that they'll have a quarterback that knows the system. But you have one of their starting defensive tackles had surgery. He's going to miss the bowl game. Two of their starters on defense didn't play the finale the season finale. They're not going to be in. One of the starting left guards, their starting left guard who hasn't played since week 5, should not be back. He probably won't be back due to a toe injury. Any miscellaneous news? Let's see. Nope. Running back Taj Brooks announced he will stay at Texas Tech. Okay, that's good. That's the big thing I was looking for. If Taj Brooks is in this game, Texas Tech has a chance. Now you look at Cal. Ben Finley wasn't starting at the end of the year. He's gone to the transfer portal. Sam Jackson, the fifth, only played 5 games. Those 2 quarterbacks are going to be gone for Cal, but they still keep their starting quarterback. Not really much news outside of their leading tackler. On defense, their starting linebacker is going to be leaving. I think that's probably the biggest news for Cal is that their starting linebacker, who had 700 snaps and was their leading tackler, is gone, and he's going to be leaving. I think Texas Tech has a slightly better edge on defense with that news. Give me Texas Tech to win this game. Another close game. Another potential. Let's see. What's the total? I don't want to say over game without knowing the total. It's at 55. Never mind. This thing's going to be in the 40s. I think that's an under. But I do like Texas Tech to win this game straight up. That's all Saturday, by the way, guys. We spent the first 25 minutes of this thing just talking about the first Saturday. There's a lot of games to get through, so I'm gonna have to pick up the pace a little bit. But those were games that I've done a lot of research for, so I had a lot for that. Now we go to the famous Toastery Bowl, Western Kentucky Old Dominion, one of the better names for the entire year, for the entire bowl season. I love this bowl game. I love this bowl name. So you have a lot of transfers for Western Kentucky. They're starting left guard, they're starting center, they're starting right tackle, basically losing most of their offensive line. They lose their cornerback, linebacker, safety, all to the transfer portal. Old Dominion, meanwhile, not that many losses. They're losing their starting safety, who had 107 tackles this season, which is pretty bad. That's a big piece to lose against a Western Kentucky team that can sling it. Besides that, that's it. I mean, their punter is leaving. That's basically it. There's oh my gosh, I forgot about this though. Maybe the biggest loss of the game for Old Dominion is their linebacker Jason Henderson, who is the nation's leading tackler in 861 snaps. He is out for the bowl game. So Old Dominion losing a couple big pieces on defense. You might be looking at the over for this game. I wouldn't blame you. Total's gone down a few points, but I'm gonna take a look at the over just because. I don't hate, or at least Old Dominion's team total over, because I really like Old Dominion in this game. Not a lot of losses on offense. I think they're going to be able to put up points with Western Kentucky leaning basically on a offensive line that hasn't played together. They're losing their 3 biggest pieces of their offensive line. Western Kentucky's not going to have their offensive line together. Old Dominion's going to be able to generate takeaways. Yes, they're going to be susceptible to the top being taken off of the defense, but I think Old Dominion wins this thing, and I think they cover the 2.5, whatever it's going to be. Give me Old Dominion in this game. Now we move on to UTSA and Marshall. Jeff Traylor staying with UTSA. That's massive. Head coach for UTSA. He is staying at UTSA. Marshall losing their starting quarterback, Cam Fancher, to the transfer portal. Cole Pennington is now set to start for Marshall. Not really many transfer portal news. Not really much transfer portal news for this game. Keep an eye on the status of Rasheen Ali for Marshall. We're not sure. Nothing's official just yet. He's taken almost 600 snaps this year. That would be massive if Marshall can keep him in. But I really think UTSA is going to run away with this game. Roadrunners run away with it. It's a double-digit spread. It's probably going to get up to 14 by the time that game goes off. Love the UTSA team total. Love the spread in this game. UTSA should be able to handle Marshall. Yeah, I really like it. Marshall dropped 6 of its final 8 games, even though it was bowl eligible at the beginning of the year, early in the year. 2 teams kind of going the other way. I think UTSA could win this game by 10, maybe 12. I think if it gets up to 14, I'm probably going to leave it alone. But give me UTSA to put up at least 30 in this game. South Florida and my alma mater, Syracuse. Line is going towards South Florida, which I hate. Dino Babers has been fired, and I think it was about time. I love him. Love the guy, and I hate talking about head coaches negatively, because at the end of the day, it's a guy's livelihood. And Dino Babers was a great dude, loved him. Just wasn't the right fit for Syracuse. Hopefully, we find a good head coach that can bring a lot of guys in. Elijah Robinson has been hired as the defensive coordinator. I really like that. Haven't lost a ton of guys to the transfer portal. We did lose Leon Lowry, who was the starting edge rusher, but no one really on offense. Garrett Schrader should be fully healthy, which is massive. Starting quarterback for Syracuse should be fully healthy, which is massive. Not really much news for USF in this game, so saying all of that, we talk about the roofclaim.com Boca Raton Bowl. I like Syracuse to win this thing, and I think they can win by a touchdown. I really like that they're playing in warm weather. They've done much better in warm weather than cold. It's tough to guess how they're gonna do under an interim coach, but I really do like the offense in this game. I like that they're going to have a new defensive look and not a new defensive scheme necessarily, but a fresh defensive look in this game. That's exactly what you need to bring in against USF. They're a tricky team to beat, especially in a game where, let's be honest, they're going to have the home field advantage in Boca Raton, Florida, at FAU Stadium. They don't have to travel far. South Florida doesn't to FAU. But I like Syracuse's offense. I like the fact that they're going to be points scored in this game. I am fine taking an over in this game. Let me see what the total is. Yeah, I'm fine taking an over as long as you get it at a key number. Right now it's at 61, which is pretty high, but I still think they can get there. I think Syracuse can win this thing, and I think this thing can go over. I would take Syracuse as a 3-point favorites, not much more than that. I know I said I think they can win by a touchdown, but I changed my mind. So in that quickly I did. Now we go to the Gasparilla Bowl, Georgia Tech and UCF. Starting quarterback Corey Thornton for UCF. Starting cornerback, I don't think I pronounced that right. He is going to be transferring. Drake Metcalf lost his job at center midway through the season. He's going to be transferring. That doesn't really matter too much. I'm not too concerned about the transfers for UCF. Not many transfers for Georgia Tech. None really worth talking about. UCF has just been such a tough team to beat, man. They have been so impressive to me in their first year in the Big 12. In the bounce house, they've been fantastic. They're playing in Raymond James Stadium, as you guys would know. This is, the Buccaneers Stadium in Tampa, Florida. So UCF does get a decent amount of home field advantage. Obviously, they're playing Georgia Tech, who had a really good offense in and of themselves this year, and this should be a good offensive showcase, a good offensive matchup. I think Georgia Tech can cover anything over a 3-point spread. I think this thing is going to sail over its number. Its opening number was at 61. It now, as of me talking, sits at 65. I think this thing is going to go over. This thing can get in the 70s. Not a lot of value on 65, I will tell you that, but I think this thing is going to go over. Give me this game over. I think that's the best bet of the game. I think UCF wins straight up. But this is going to be an over game. I love both offenses in this game. All right, Birmingham Bowl. Two teams that I love to watch this year, love to bet on early in the year in Duke, love to bet on all year in Troy. Fantastic team in Troy. Really, really, really like them. Let's see the spread. Troy has inflated to 7.5-point favorites. I'm not surprised. I really wish I could get some better value on them, man. They should win this game, but I don't think by 7. We'll get into it in a second. I do want to tout the club one more time. Pro Channel up 76.6 units since November 1st. We are on a hot streak. We had one loss on Thursday night, and it's a massive weekend between UFC 296, big college basketball slate, big college football slate, bowl game slate, NFL, NBA. NHL. This is the weekend to get into the pros. We are running a flash sale all weekend, and we are also offering a new yearly membership where you can pay as you go rather than pay the full year up front. You can pay you could save basically $200 on a monthly subscription if you agree to pay for the full year. So that is all the news going on in the Pro Channel and the Coverage Club. Join on in, jump in the Discord, start winning with us. All right. Troy Trojans, they lose their head coach, John Sumrall. He is going to Tulane. Their defensive coordinator will serve as the interim head coach. Troy's defense was fantastic this year. I love that their defensive coordinator is taking over the head coaching duties. He is a beloved guy. That is a big key for Troy in this game. They're not losing really anyone to the transfer portal, except for Jaden McDonald, who had 9.5 tackles for loss this year. Mike Elko, head coach for Duke, has left for Texas A&M. Associate head coach Trooper Taylor will serve as their interim head coach. I'm not really surprised that Mike Elko left. Riley Leonard is gone. I'd expect Grayson Loftus to play in this game. He did play in 7 games this year. He was pretty good. He was okay. I was pretty impressed with him. So that's not much of a drop-off after Riley Leonard leaves. Wish the best for him. He's a good quarterback, man. Duke loses their starting edge, starting defensive lineman, starting linebacker, starting defensive back, and their kick returner. Their starting running back, their backup running back, one of their defensive backs who had 4 pass breakups this year. All that being said, I don't think Duke stands much of a chance on the money line in this game. Give me Troy straight up in this game. I don't love them -7, but I do think they can. I do think they can pull away from Duke in this game. Line movement is going toward them. I think Duke has enough veteran leadership to keep this thing tight in the Birmingham Bowl, but I think Vidal staying for Troy is massive. I think Troy's going to be big. If you guys want some props for that game, by the way, Kimani Vidal, he's going to run for touchdowns. He's an anytime touchdown scorer. Take him for 2+. I like him in that game. All right, Arkansas State and Northern Illinois. We have some line movement toward Northern Illinois very slightly, but a lot of the money is on Arkansas State in this game. This total is going up, and I think this game could go over 45. What's the total in this game? 52? Ugh, I thought it was going to be a lot lower. Why is it that high? Okay. I do like both offenses. All that being said, I still think this thing can go over 52. I think this thing has a chance to go over. Northern Illinois, as you guys might know, has struggled in the postseason. They've lost 7 bowl games in a row, 10 of their last 12. That's not good. That's bad. In any sense, that's bad. So they lose one of their safeties who didn't really play much later in the season, wasn't fantastic later in the season. Don't really have a ton of losses except for Trayvon Rudolph, who was their best wide receiver, best returner. He withdrew from the transfer portal, so that's massive. So Northern Illinois is going to have him. And again, these guys that I talk about in the transfer portal, it is not set in stone that these guys won't have them. They can withdraw and could return to the team. But these are all the transfer portal news that I have as of talking about this right now. This is all subject to change potentially. I feel like this disclaimer has to be said. Rudolph coming back is massive. They lost a couple other starting wide receivers later in the season, but I still think Northern Illinois with Trayvon Rudolph coming back is massive. Has a good chance of putting up some points in this game. I hate that. I hate to speculate on this, but I think Jacob Bayer, the starting center, is going to be out. There's news that he could return. I don't know if it's just noise or not. If he returns, that's fantastic. And I've heard some people that I do respect say that he's going to come back. So that would be huge if he does come back. Zach Wallace, one of the running backs, also missed the regular season finale. So I think this is going to be one of those games where Arkansas State could benefit massively from getting their offensive pieces back. Give me Arkansas State straight up in a very close one, but I do like the over in this game as well. Armed Forces Bowl, JMU gets to go bowling because of a massive push. JMU does get to go bowling, and I think they're just going to destroy Air Force. I don't think this thing's going to be close. I love JMU. I love the program they've created. They are 2.5-point favorites. A lot of the money's on Air Force. I really like JMU in this game. I think it's worth noting that their starting quarterback is checking out the transfer portal. However, he is expected to play. That's Jordan McLeod. He is expected to play. One of their best defenders at linebacker, he's in the transfer portal right now. A couple other guys are in the transfer portal, including one of their offensive linemen that's been with the program for a few years. That's pretty bad. Their head coach is going to be taking the job at Indiana, so he will not be in. But Mike Shanahan Bryant Haynes, Tino Sunseri, their offense coordinator, defense coordinator, and quarterbacks coach are all following him to Indiana. So that's going to be a big issue, is that there's going to be a lot of head coaching turnover. I still think this team is talented enough to take down Air Force, but that's going to be a massive issue, and it's something that's worth saying. The offensive line coach is going to serve as the acting head coach for the game. Only 4 coaches, by the way, are not leaving for Indiana. They've hired 5 temporary coaches to get through the bowl game. That's going to be big. It's going to be tough. But for Air Force, their starting quarterback could return for the bowl game. I think I think he could come back. One of their wide receivers could come back. I still think JMU is so talented and honestly really hungry even after losing their head coaches. I still think they can win the Armed Forces Bowl. Won't be easy against Air Force, but I still think they can. I still think they'll be okay, even with the coaching issues and the coaching absences. Georgia State, Utah State, not a lot of transfer portal. Not a lot of transfer portal news outside of Marcus Carroll, the starting running back for Georgia State, leaving. I do like Utah State in this game. That line has moved through 0 for Utah State. I think they can pull away with this one. Give me Utah State in the famous Idaho Potato Bowl. South Alabama, Eastern Michigan. Really like South Alabama in this game, man. Really like South Alabama. 15 points is a little too much for me. Their top wide receiver is in the transfer portal. That's a bit of an issue. Eastern Michigan starting quarterback though is in the transfer portal as well. If he doesn't come back, they're going to have more of a rushing quarterback who's going to be in. I really like South Alabama. Love their defense in this game. I'm fine with taking South Alabama minus 15 in this game. But I would say buy it to 14, honestly. I don't know if I'd take it all at 15. But I do think South Alabama can pull away in this game. Las Vegas Bowl, Utah Utes and Northwestern. Utah loses Nate Johnson, expected to enter the transfer portal. Bryson Barnes said he will play in the bowl game, even though he's expected to go in the transfer portal potentially at the end of the year. One of their wide receivers is going to be out. One of their corners is going to be out. Obviously, their big-name quarterback is not played all season. This Las Vegas Bowl is not going to be, my favorite bowl game of the year. Unfortunately, I'll probably have to go if I'm here. I forget what day it is. It's on the 23rd, so I will not be there. I will be home for Christmas. But give me Northwestern plus 6.5. Give me the underdog in this game. I think they can win straight up, to be honest. I think Utah has had enough issues offensively that it's going to be just too much to overcome. I think Northwestern can cover this game because they have some shred of offense, but I think it's going to be it's just going to be no offense in this game for Utah, and I think Northwestern's going to be able to capitalize. Let's keep rolling through these ones because we have a lot of bowl games to get through. I kind of started slow, didn't I? Let's see. Who else do we have? What's next? I lost my place. Hawaii Bowl. Coast Carolina, San Jose State. Very close game. I like an over for this game. Coast Carolina losing Grayson McCall is bad. I think San Jose State can win this thing. I hate that they lose their left tackle. He's really good. He's going to be in the transfer portal. All these guys going into the transfer portal. I think San Jose State can still win this thing, and I think this game goes over. Let's start rolling here. Quick Lane Bowl. Give me Bowling Green in a close one. Bowling Green, Minnesota. Give me Bowling Green in a very close one. Losing a couple guys on defense, losing their leading receiver, who's also their running back. But I think Bowling Green still has enough of their offense together. Minnesota losing their starting running back is going to be big going to the transfer portal. Give me Bowling Green by a close one. Texas State and Rice. I actually like Rice to cover this one. That's the First Responder Bowl. Give me Rice to cover and win as an underdog. I do like the over in this one as well. Good offensive game. No significant news in the transfer portal in that game. I like Rice to win straight up as the underdog. All right, Guaranteed Rate Bowl. Kansas UNLV. I think Kansas wins this thing by 10 or more. That is in Phoenix. I think that's at the baseball field, if I'm not mistaken. But anyway, there is The OC is taking the OC job at Penn State for Kansas. That's basically it. You have a couple guys in the transfer portal, but not really a ton. I think UNLV's quarterback is going to stay. So this should be actually a pretty good game. I do like KU to win this game, though. Military Bowl, Virginia Tech and Tulane. A lot of transfer portal news for Tulane, as we've talked about on lives before, on shows before. Willie Fritz taking the head coaching job at Houston. That's big. Tulane, a team that just did not seem to be able to cover at the end of the year. I think this is going to be one more game that they can't cover. Give me Virginia Tech to cover this thing, and I think they can win by 7 too. Give me the ACC team that does not lose many guys at all to the transfer portal. I don't even think they're going to lose anyone to the transfer portal. Duke's Mayo Bowl. Not a lot of losses for North Carolina. Drake May is going to be in the NFL draft. Their linebacker, center, wide receiver, defensive line, all to the NFL draft, and only their defensive lineman is going to be returning for the game. So Drake May, starting linebacker, starting center, starting wide receiver, are all going to be out because they're preparing for the NFL draft. All that being said, West Virginia wins this thing, man. You can't. I really don't think UNC is going to be able to operate without that many key pieces in this game. You lose a few minor pieces for West Virginia, but the core is still there. Really like West Virginia -5 in this game. I think West Virginia wins this thing in a game that goes over. Holiday Bowl, a game that we're used to seeing USC in, and one of the, I don't know if this is the final time they'll be in the Holiday Bowl. Who knows? But Caleb Williams opting out, Marshawn Lloyd opting out, Brendan Rice opting out. Expect Miller Moss and or Malachi Nelson to play at quarterback for USC in this game. Louisville's going to win this game, guys. Louisville really surprised me so much throughout the year. They're 7.5-point favorites. I'll buy the line down to 7, and I'll take Louisville by 7. I'm great with them. Great with them in this game. All right, let's keep rolling. Texas Bowl, Texas A&M against Oklahoma State. There are way too many transfer portal guys to list for Texas A&M. I'll fire it off real quick. In the transfer portal for Texas A&M, it's their starting quarterback, their starting right tackle, their starting edge, their starting safety, their starting defensive lineman, their starting cornerback, their other starting cornerback, and their backup safety, corner, wide receiver, guard, and tight end. Opting out of this game, starting wide receiver, starting linebacker, starting defensive tackle, starting right guard. Who is going to play for them in this game? I can't answer that. Give me Oklahoma State plus 2.5. Give me Oklahoma State. Ollie Gordon could sit potentially, but knowing the guy, having covered him, I expect him to play personally. Give me Oklahoma State in this game in the Texas Bowl. By the way, Ollie Gordon is from Texas. He's playing in his home state in this game. I expect him to play in the TaxAct Texas Bowl, Texas A&M and Oklahoma State. Give me the Pokes. Underdogs, give me them straight up at NRG Stadium in Houston. I don't know who's going to be playing for Texas in this thing. By the way, Jimbo Fisher did get fired. Offensive coordinator Bobby Petrino took the offensive coordinator job at Arkansas. So Kansas State offensive coordinator Colin Klein will replace Petrino, which I like, as A&M's offensive coordinator, which I really like. Elijah Robinson, Syracuse's new defensive coordinator, will serve as an interim head coach for Texas A&M throughout this game. He's got one foot out the door. I'm fine with Oklahoma State in this game. That's probably my favorite underdog of the bowl season so far. Fenway Bowl. SMU Mustangs, Boston College Eagles. Emmett Morehead lost his starting job to starting quarterback for Boston College. He is going to be in the transfer portal. Not a lot of transfer portal news in this game in the Fenway Bowl. Obviously, Boston College is going to have some home field advantage. I don't think it's going to be enough. I think SMU is way too electric of an offense. I love Boston College's defense, but their offense just is not enough to keep up with SMU. This is not an over game necessarily, but don't think about this one too hard. Just take SMU by 10. Pinstripe Bowl, Rutgers, who has, I guess, home field advantage, going from New Jersey over to New York, and Miami, who obviously not going to love playing in the cold weather, but you get what you get. I really like Rutgers in this game, man. Rutgers at home was fantastic this year. 2 backup quarterbacks hit the transfer portal. I'm not too concerned about that. Their running back set to come back for another season. Really like that. Miami losing their starting quarterback, confirmed going to Wisconsin. And I expect Ja'Curry Brown to start at quarterback with Emory Williams injured. So you really only have one quarterback on this roster right now. A few opt-outs, a couple injuries for Miami. Really like Rutgers in this game. Pop-Tarts Bowl. Love the Pop-Tarts Bowl, baby. Orlando, Florida. NC State, Kansas State. Now we're getting into the good ones, man. Getting into the real good games. NC State, Kansas State. Fantastic game. If this was played anywhere near North Carolina, I would automatically take NC State. A little concerned about their ability to hang around in this game as a 3-point dog. I know the line's going toward them. But Brennan Armstrong being in and starting is going to be massive for NC State. Kansas State, their starting quarterback is transferring. Expect Avery Johnson to start. That's really the only reason I think NC State should be able to hang around in this game. So, yeah, I've said it a few times. What do you call it? Here it is. Offensive coordinator Colin Klein, as we were just talking about, accepting the OC job at Texas A&M for Kansas State. I think this is still going to be a good offensive game, but at the same time, I think NC State should be able to hang around in this thing, keep it close. If they are anything over a 3-point dog, I'll take it. So they started as 5. They're at 3.5 right now. I'll take them as a 3-point dog, but I think K-State can win this thing straight up. Really like Kansas State in this game. Guys, before I continue, one more time, the Pro Channel up 76.6 units since November 1st. You can get in for 50% off for a month, 6-month, or year membership with code FLASH at wap.com/thecoversclub, or just grab the link in any of our bios or any of the Discords. Join the Discord and grab that flash sale. That is code FLASH for any membership that is the month, 6-month, or year membership. Jump in for the big weekend. We have a big college basketball slate. College football bowl season is among us. We're going to be picking these games for all the college bowl games. We are also going to have UFC 296 this weekend, NFL, NBA, NHL, which we've been really hot at. We've been stupid hot at NHL. Jump into the Covers Club, grab those pro plays, and start cashing. Invest and get the wifey, get the man, get the kids something a little extra this year because you've won so much money in the Covers Club. That's what we love to do. Oklahoma, as we know, starting quarterback Dylan Gabriel is transferring. He is going where I was really confused, baffled that he didn't follow Jeff Lebby to Mississippi State. But he is going to be going to Oregon. Jackson Arnold is going to start. That is not a big step down. I love Jackson Arnold. He's going to be really good next year. Tawi Walker, their second leading rusher on the team. He is in the transfer portal. Marcus Major, who hasn't played in a while, is in the transfer portal. I'm not too concerned about that. Let's see. Any of the other opt-outs? Andrew Rame opting out. That's not good. He was a Broken Arrow High School graduate. He is one of the best centers, honestly, in my opinion, in the country. A guy that looks and reminds me of a lot like Creed Humphrey. Really like him, but he is opting out of this game. Tyler Guyton also opting out of this game, offensive tackle. That's bad for Oklahoma. Oklahoma, Arizona, this is the Alamo Bowl, which I was at a few years ago when Coach Stoops played at this game. Or coached in this game, rather, stepped in for he who shall not be named. So we do like Oklahoma kind of having home field advantage of this game, but I really like Arizona's team, guys. I'm going to take Arizona by 3 in this game, and I think they win exactly by 3, so I'm not going to be taking the spread on that. I will be taking the over. I like Jackson Arnold to help us get to the over in this game. Gator Bowl. Not a lot that I'm really too concerned about in terms of transfers and opt-outs in this game. I think Kentucky covers and potentially even wins as an underdog. Really like Kentucky as an underdog in this game. Clemson's a little bit better toward the end of the year. Jeremiah Trotter Jr. not being in is big, though. Jeremiah Trotter Jr. not being in for this game is big. I think Clemson wins. Now that I look at all this news, I think Clemson wins, but I think Kentucky keeps it really close. Jeremiah Trotter not being in is massive. Man, I loved watching his dad play. Okay, here we go. Oregon State and Notre Dame in the Sun Bowl. Tony the Tiger Sun Bowl. I like Notre Dame in this thing. A lot of guys in the transfer portal in this game. Obviously, Oregon State losing their starting quarterback. their backup quarterback, their third-string quarterback, is going to start. He started the final 8 games last year, so he knows this program well enough. But Oregon State's head coaching staff has been just all over the place. Too many shakeups to name, but Trent Bray won't be with them. Jonathan Smith won't be with them. Their passing game coordinator takes over as the interim. Cornerbacks coach Anthony Perkins will serve as the interim DC. I don't like all the coaching changes. Give me Notre Dame in this game. Good game, though. Really good game. Really close game. Sam Hartman is going to be an opt-out for Notre Dame, which is pretty bad. But and Estime opting out as well is not good either. But I still think with Xavier Watts, the Nagurski Award winner, I think that's really big. And Howard Cross coming back is big too. I like this defense for this game. Liberty Bowl, Memphis and Iowa State. Give me Iowa State away from home. Really like Memphis this year. Solid season. Not a lot of news in the transfer portal in this game. Matt Campbell has won this thing before. I love Matt Campbell in bowl season. He's won the Liberty Bowl before. I know that Memphis has the home field advantage. Give me Iowa State in this game. I don't like the number at 8.5, though. You're going to have to get creative with this one. Let's see. We're looking at the Cotton Bowl now. Missouri and Ohio State. Kyle McCord in the transfer portal. As we know, he visited Syracuse the other day, which we love. Devin Brown should be healthy enough to start. A lot of opt-outs and transfers. Obviously, Marvin Harrison Jr. could be a potential opt-out for this game. We'll see if he plays. I expect him to be a top 5 pick in the draft. This will be interesting if he does or doesn't play. Let me see. Cotton Bowl winner, Ohio State. I like them just slightly over Missouri, but I do think they win this thing. Give me Ohio State to win the Cotton Bowl. I think Marvin Harris Jr. could come back. Peach Bowl. Ole Miss and Penn State, huh? I think Penn State wins this thing. I like their defense. Obviously, they're the number 1 defense in the country. I love their defense. Don't love their offense against Ole Miss, but as 3-point favorites, I think you have to take them. They're going to keep their offense coordinators. Their defense coordinator did leave. I'm not too concerned about that. I think this defense is so talented. They're going to be fine. They lost a couple guys as opt-outs, but I'm not too concerned. Give me Penn State to beat Ole Miss. I do like the 3-point. I do like taking 3 points, or giving 3 points, I guess, for Penn State. So give me Penn State by 3. Music City Bowl. Here we go. Maryland and Auburn. This is another really close game, man. Maryland, if you can get Maryland to a 3-point dog, I like them. If you can give Maryland to a 3-point dog, I really like them. I think, what? Mike Loxley says Talia Tagovailoa will play for Maryland. That's massive. Not a lot of transfer news, not a lot of opt-out news in this game, but Talia Tagovailoa playing is massive. I think Maryland, a team that stumbled a little bit down the stretch, playing Auburn, a team that just couldn't get the offense going under Philip Montgomery this year, but I think their offense is going to be back next year. I think Maryland's going to be solid, and they're going to be able to play this game within 3. If you get a 2-point spread, it's Auburn. If you can get a 3 or more, it's Maryland. I think this is a true 3-point game. This is a very closely matched game. Let's see what's next. Georgia and Florida State in the Orange Bowl. A lot of opt-outs. A lot of guys in the transfer portal. Carson Beck opting out. Brock Bowers opting out for Georgia. Their centers opting out. Their corner, defensive lineman, safety, linebacker all opting out. For Florida State, obviously, Jordan Travis is out for the year. A lot to play for Florida State. Here's the thing. I think Georgia is 14 points better than Florida State. I do. But I think with Florida State having been snubbed, with their defense especially having been snubbed in the college football playoff, I don't think they lose by 14. I think they're going to be playing with so much heart and so much grit. I think the Orange Bowl is going to be within 14 points. Give me Georgia to win straight up. but Florida State's going to keep this thing within 2 scores. I think the Orange Bowl is going to be a little bit closer than people expect. Arizona Bowl, Toledo and Wyoming. I like Wyoming -3 a lot. Really like Wyoming -3 a lot. Craig Bowl, his final game. His final game at Wyoming. How can you draw that up any more perfectly? Craig Bowl's final game at Wyoming. And he is playing against Toledo in the Arizona Bowl. Brought to you by Barstool, so look for the over. This is going to be a great game. Really like Wyoming -3 in this game. Craig Bowl wins this final game. We get an over. It'll be a lot of fun. Love Toledo this year, obviously. Defense is really good. Offense is solid, but Wyoming outduels them. Wisconsin and LSU in the ReliaQuest Bowl. This is close. You got a lot of guys in the transfer portal. Potential opt-outs, and Jaden Daniels, Brian Thomas, Malik Neighbors for LSU. This is close. I like LSU, though. I think Luke Fickell has been a really good coach in bowl games. That's the only reason I say I think this thing could be within 10. I'm not gonna lay 10 points for LSU just because Luke Fickell started out okay, started out rocky, and then he got a little bit worse as the season went on. But I'm not too concerned about LSU losing this game. I am concerned about Wisconsin keeping this close because Luke Fickell knows how to coach in bowl games. Give me Wisconsin to cover. Citrus Bowl. Cheez-It Citrus Bowl, Iowa and Tennessee. Let's see. I like Tennessee in this game. They're not going to have much to look at in terms of Iowa offense. I don't think Iowa has much of a chance in this game, and their starting quarterback, obviously being lost this season. Their tight end, who was lost this season, earlier this season, could come back for this bowl game. Not much offense to be said. Give me Tennessee by 7. That's just going to be a terrible game. Don't watch it. Don't force your significant other to watch it. Just don't do it. Now we get to the biggest news of the day, and if you skipped ahead in the podcast, you're probably listening for this part exactly. The college football playoff. This is it. This is the biggest. And when I say opt-outs, I mean they are not playing. They're either opting out for the draft or they're in the transfer portal. They're opting out. They are not playing. If I say that they're in a transfer portal, that could mean they come back. It might mean they leave. If they're a better player, they might leave. But they could come back and play the game, but they are in the transfer portal. Again, this does not mean these guys are necessarily out, but they are things that you have to keep an eye on. You have to keep an eye on the transfer portal. But opt-outs mean that they are opting out. They will not play in the game. Okay. Before we get to the college football playoff, the Pro Channel, since November 1st, is up 76.6 units profit. That is all the money you need to buy Christmas presents. That is all the money you need to go celebrate New Year's, buy some bottles, pop some bottles, have some fun. And you can get into the pros and win that money if you're not in already for 50% off this weekend only using code FLASH. Get in with a month, a 6-month, or a year membership using code FLASH. 50% off in the pros. Go get that money. It's a massive weekend with college football, college basketball, NFL, UFC 296, NHL, NBA. Get into the pros, win that money, and this is the best Discord to be in on the internet. Did I miss Liberty, Oregon? I might have missed Liberty, Oregon. I did. I missed the Fiesta Bowl. I'll do that one really quickly. Obviously, I love both these teams. We had a lot of money made on both these teams this year. Oregon should win this game by 17. I don't think Liberty's going to be able to keep up with them. Liberty hasn't lost a lot of guys. Oregon's just really good. A bunch of potential opt-outs, but Bo Nix will play in the bowl game. I expect Bo Nix to try to keep his. I expect Bo Nix to try to keep his stock high and get in this bowl game and just show out against a Liberty team that is, to be honest, a little susceptible on defense, and on offense they are. They're fantastic. I'll give that to them. They are fantastic on offense, but I think Oregon is just so leaps and bounds better as a program than Liberty. Give me Oregon. Okay, let's go to the college football playoff. Let's do it. Alabama, Michigan. Backup quarterback Tyler Buckner is going to be going to play lacrosse for Alabama. It's not worth anything considering. It's just weird to think that the backup quarterback is going to go play lacrosse. I just thought it was strange, so I'm saying it. Jace McClellan didn't play in the SEC championship. Kool-Aid McKinstry left the SEC title game with a minor concussion. We assume he's going to be okay for the semifinal. No significant news in the Michigan transfer portal. The right guard lost for the season. Will Johnson cornerback missed the Big Ten title game. Not sure if he's going to be back in. Alabama in this game is a 1.5 point underdog as of me saying this right now. You guys are going to call me crazy, and I'm fine with it. Alabama is going to win this game. Alabama is going to beat Michigan. They are flawed. I will give them that. They are gritty. Their defense is solid. Michigan has one of the most complete offenses in the country. But this is an Alabama offense that is explosive at the right times. They are disciplined. And at the end of the day, it is the discipline. It is the ability to keep control of the ball and keep the and control the time of possession that is going to win this game. This is probably going to be a 3 to 5 point game. It could be weird. But it's just the postseason record that concerns me. I don't think, and this is a great comment that we've got here, Brad, I do not think Nick Saban is going to be outcoached by Harbaugh. I think Saban is going to outcoach Harbaugh. There is so much experience in this Alabama team in the postseason, and that is massive. Coaching is massive this time of year. I think that Nick Saban coaches his way past Harbaugh, and I think Alabama wins this game. And as great as Michigan is this year, and I'm going to get a lot of hate from the Michigan guys, and I understand it. Alabama's just the better coaching and more experience, and I think Alabama wins this thing. We look at the other college football playoff semifinal, another over game in Washington and Texas. Fantastic game. Not much to report in terms of transfer portals. Backup quarterback for Washington's leaving. Injuries. Jonathan Brooks lost for the season for Texas. We knew that already. ACL injury. That was massive. Xavier Worthy seen on crutches and in a boot after the Big 12 title game. If Xavier Worthy cannot go for Texas, Washington wins this game. That's how tight this game is. Very tight game. Starting cornerback didn't play in the Big 12 championship for Texas. Steve Sarkisian did say he feels very confident that both Worthy and Ryan Watts, that starting corner, will be ready for the Sugar Bowl. That would be massive. If Xavier Worthy plays, this game becomes a lot closer. I think Washington as a 4.5 point dog is honestly insulting. I think they can win straight up. I don't think they do, but give me Texas by 3. Give me a very, very close game. I love that Michael Penix is going to be even healthier for this game. That's massive. Texas defensive line could just be a difference in this game. That one big stop is going to be huge. Washington doesn't really do between the tackles rushing, so that's not as much of a concern for me that Washington is going to be, stuffed by that great run blocking defense that we saw in the Big 12 title game. I'm not too concerned about that. I'm just concerned about Michael Penix having to rush through his progressions. It's really hard to go against Penix. They do not lose big games. They are 9-0 against AP top 25 teams. They're good at Washington. They are very, very good. That's Washington we were talking about. I think Washington can win this game. I think Texas and that defensive line takes it by 3. Washington loves to win his dogs. It's very true. This is close, man. I really don't know how to pick this game. It's very, very close. I think Alabama beats either of them, personally. I think I'm going to go with Washington because I want to pick the underdog. And I do know that Washington loves to win as underdogs. Give me Washington to win, straight up. And then the college football final, Alabama wins by 2, maybe 3. Really close game. Love Washington's offense in that game. But again, no one's out coaching Saban. I think Alabama, after sneaking into the how great of a storyline is this? Alabama sneaks into the title game or sneaks into the college football playoff, beat Michigan, and win the title. And I think it's going to happen. Give me Alabama to win the college football championship game, national championship game. Guys, that is it. Once again, flash sale going down this weekend, plus 76 units in the Covers Club Discord since November 1st. You can get in for half off for a month, 6 months, or a year using code FLASH at the website that we have pasted all over the Discord. Jump in the Discord, free plays every day. Make that money, invest in your betting, invest in becoming a better, and joining the pros. Thank you guys so much for listening. Thank you guys for tuning in. Really appreciate you guys. Really appreciate you guys paying attention. Let's win some money this college bowl season. And if I don't see you again if I don't talk to you again on this podcast, I'll see you on the lives. But if I don't see you again on this podcast before Christmas, Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. And let's have a fantastic end of the year, guys.